Last week's episode was power-packed on stress. So today, let's unpack another often ignored or unaware stressor, indecision. Welcome to the Pain of Staying in Indecision, episode 78.
Hi, I'm Clarenda, and you are listening to the Feel Light Mind and Body podcast, created for women like you. Women who are experiencing success in so many areas of life, but are struggling with weight loss, stress eating, and decreased energy. Losing weight can feel hard, heavy, and restrictive. That's why every week I will be offering you a different perspective, tips, encouragement, and a unique approach so that you can feel lighter in your mind and body rather than feeling deprived, frustrated, or discouraged. What if you could feel free, yet in control around food for the rest of your life? What if you could enjoy your experience of losing weight and getting healthier? You absolutely can. You're in the right place. Take this time for yourself and let's dive in.
A reminder will pop up either on our calendars or in our minds, and we keep dismissing it and thinking, I'll look at that later. Can you think of something you've been doing that with lately? Maybe it's making a phone call for an appointment or going to a website for an offer that piqued your interest. Not making a decision is keeping that thought loop open in your brain, and it will keep prompting you to close it, kind of like the snooze on our alarm app. So, why is being aware of the effects of indecision so important? Like with anything, once we're aware, we can make the next best decision with the information that we have. Remaining in indecision still takes up mental bandwidth, even though we don't think it does. We think it has disappeared because we're ignoring it, but it's still there, randomly popping up into our consciousness to distract or create a sense of unease. When we have a sense of feeling off, our survival part of our brain will be activated as it senses danger and will use up more energy than usual. So let's get practical and more specific for this Feel Light Mind and Body podcast. When you feel restless or find yourself with the fridge door open, scanning for something satisfying, although not hungry, ask yourself, what's going on in my mind right now? What's going on in the background that I need to deal with? This is an energy drain. These energy drains accumulate, leaving us emotionally exhausted at the end of the day, even when we don't feel like we've done enough to feel exhausted. I'm now aware that, for me, emotional eating usually stems from a restless feeling. And until I take a few moments and get to the source, the thought or thoughts I have that's creating that feeling, no amount of food will satisfy me. So many women have told me during our initial consultation that they don't understand why they have the amount of extra weight, because overall they eat healthy foods. They usually say, I get that how I eat is probably responsible for 20 pounds or so, but not for this much. When we look at patterns in their week, there are usually periods of overeating, when bored, stressed, lonely, restless, sad, frustrated, and yes, even when celebrating an occasion, or simply because their brain says they deserve it. Being aware is one thing, but learning how to change that pattern and deal with the underlying cause is one of the ways I help them create a lifestyle that has them shedding the mental and physical weight. That's what will last. So back to the topic. When you make a decision, you can make progress. Indecision is still a decision. Letting a decision be made for you because time ran out feels disempowering. Disempowered decisions can also come from allowing others to make the decision for you. I'm not talking about the little decisions that you really don't care about. I'm usually open to various restaurants when friends want to get together, so I tell them to pick one as it saves me making one more decision, and they know the kind of food that I like and dislike. They probably won't suggest going to a grease pit, but if they do, I would then make a decision on whether to suggest another option, look up the menu to see what might be a possibility, or tell them I'll catch up with them later that week. Another pain of staying in indecision is it feels awful. Debating or ruminating, do I do this or do I do that? And the famous, should I or shouldn't I? The fact is, we can never be 100% certain that we are making the right decision. So why not make the best one you can with the information you have? A whole other topic is then not beating yourself up for that decision if in hindsight you want to think it was the wrong one. I had to go through that process after my 23-year marriage unexpectedly ended. Maybe one day I'll share how I came to gratitude for that. Finally. Let me know if that interests you or not. Finding gratitude for any circumstance helps us feel lighter in our hearts, minds, and bodies. And yes, in some situations, this feels nearly impossible. But where there's darkness, there's the contrast of light, if we know how to look for it. This will be part of what 16 women will discover later this month, May 31st to June 2nd, at our 10th Women's Weekend Retreat. So if you haven't checked out the About page yet, do so. There you can learn more and register if it speaks to you. Just click on the link in this episode's description. We encounter so many decisions every day, some effortlessly, and others leave us tangled in uncertainty. I don't do well in indecision. It leaves me feeling unmotivated, blah, stressed, tired, and at some level of overwhelmment. I like to have a clear and simple plan of action, not just for my health goals, but also for my relationships and business. Staying in indecision cheats you from living the heck out of life. The fear of making the wrong decision leads to no decision. We're scared of making mistakes. But guess what? Then nothing can change in an intentional, empowered way. Inaction leads to results of more of the same, whether that is the slow gain of weight, accumulation of mental heaviness leading to fatigue, more tasks being added to your plate, or more people-pleasing until you just want to tap out. It's very normal for our brains to do this. We overthink things without having a strategy in place for making decisions. You've maybe heard of analysis paralysis. When you find it difficult to choose what you think would be best, it feels overwhelming. Your brain just becomes overwhelmed and procrastinates. It's a form of self-protection. Our bodies will eventually tap out if we don't take the time to nurture them. Your body will give you signals which lead to symptoms like an illness. I encourage you to listen to them sooner rather than later. What are they trying to tell you? How can you honor your amazing body that is trying to support you as best as it can? Maybe you're like me and consciously or unconsciously have high standards for yourself. If so, welcome to perfectionistic thinking. Perfectionistic thinking leads to procrastination, which leads to pain. So join me in my lifelong commitment to move away from perfectionism. A couple of weeks ago, I was using a different platform for recording the podcast. And as I listened to it, I wanted to scrap it because the sound quality wasn't up to my standards. But I didn't let myself. If I had, I would have been robbing from another area of my life that is of higher value to me, my sleep, which falls under my health value. I was preparing for Time Unplugged so I could focus on the Rewire training in Chicago. Continual learning is also a high value. Would I have preferred it to have been done right? Absolutely. And I even debated on skipping a week so I wouldn't have to feel disappointed by the sound quality. But that would have left some disappointed listeners, like you, who watch for this in their subscription box. Also, I would have felt disappointed in breaking my commitment to produce a weekly episode. I'm proud of doing it consistently for 78 weeks, no matter what. Now, will there be a week I'll have to skip? Possibly, but it will be a rare occasion as I made this decision not on a whim, but as a heartfelt mission decision. I'm committed to helping you feel lighter in your mind and body. We all like examples to make it relevant, so I'll use what's happening in my inbox right now regarding the upcoming women's retreat. Some are saying they are hesitating because they're scared of not knowing anyone or not fitting in. I know that feeling. I flew from the East Coast to the West Coast to attend a women's retreat by myself. I surprised myself at how much I loved what I had been fearing. No one knowing me did have some benefits. It allowed me to focus on filling up my cup. The partner activity allowed me to go deeper and answer valuable prompts that were provided without any preconceived ideas or expectations from the woman across from me. Now, are there also benefits of knowing some of the women? Absolutely. There are win-wins in both situations. It's natural for our brains to provide us with many obstacles, as it wants to keep us feeling safe and comfortable. Knowing this, I challenge you to flip every hesitation and ask, how and why would this retreat be a good thing for me? For every obstacle, ask, how can I make this happen? Consider, there are 4 weekends in May to spend with your family. You have the full summer ahead of you. Filling up your own cup is going to help you serve and be present for those you love and those in your work environment or social community. There hasn't been one past attendee who said, "Oh, I wish I hadn't committed to this." However, there were many who said, "I should have been there, but," and there were multiple reasons given, some very legit, like being away, and others were simply from staying in indecision or fear of the unknown. Let me assure you that you can participate as much or as little as you want in the sessions. This is your time away to recharge without any of the daily demands. It's heavenly. I always take time before a retreat to recharge. I extended this past weekend by escaping to a beautiful dome, surrounded by water and trees. I nourished my heart, body, and mind. I can't give from a half-empty cup, and neither can you, my friend. The only regret I have is not staying longer, but I now have the retreat to look forward to, as well as jumping on a plane for more Rewire training in Chicago. Are your decisions reflecting what's truly important to you? Discover this and more when you allow yourself the time to get quiet. I know at every retreat, most are so wound up that it takes a day or so to let their sympathetic nervous system settle down. The ladies always comment at some point on Saturday that they finally feel the shift in their nervous system as we intentionally tap into activating the parasympathetic nervous system to relax and recharge beautifully. So pause and ask yourself, what decision have I been delaying? Every decision you intentionally make creates momentum. Staying in indecision leaves you feeling stuck or slowly spiraling down. Nothing stays the same because we're all energy. The real question is, do you want to be at the effect of others or the powers that be, or do you want to make the decision yourself? Do you want to feel disempowered or empowered? Is there a risk of making the wrong decision? Depends on your perspective. If you want to lean into the perspective that all failing is learning, then that will lower the fear coming from the survival part of your brain, just trying to protect you from harm or pain. One thing that helps me is reminding myself that I can always redecide. I can make the very next best decision that I know to do at that time and give myself grace for perhaps making one that didn't seem to be in my favor. The great news is I'm learning in my Rewire training how to even use that to transform. It's liberating, and I can't wait to share that with you in the near future. Do you want to grow? I know it can feel scary, but when you make decisions that align with your values and goals, it feels more solid. By taking care of yourself, you'll have more energy to devote to your mission or purpose, whether for your community or your home. Practicing new ways of thinking and living with support and guidance is far less scary and isolating. As a coach, I can help you manage all the emotions that accompany a big decision. The growth that you receive as a byproduct will leave you feeling confident and proud in the very best way. Yes, it most likely will require you to step out of your comfort zone. But as I ask in the Feel Light, Mind, and Body program, is your comfort zone really comfortable? Doesn't it suck to feel bloated and miserable while sitting? Wouldn't you like to wear the clothes that you admire others wearing? Wouldn't you love to feel at ease in a bathing suit or sundress this summer? You absolutely can. Not making decisions will keep you playing small, feeling like you're just going through the same motions, living out the same life. Some tell me it feels suffocating. Being guided to make one decision at a time will feel purposeful, reassuring, and encouraging. If you want the best for yourself, then tap in, not out. Tap in to what you desire and make a decision today. Start with one that you've been putting off or avoiding. Calm your brain with a mantra that I learned from Marie Forleo. Everything is figure-outable. When you adopt that belief, you are one more step closer to creating an extraordinary life that you'll love. Making decisions takes courage because a decision can move you toward or away from what you want. Investing in your mental and physical health is one of the best decisions you'll make. Deciding to be supported in the process will move you forward quicker and in a more enjoyable way. It's normal to feel both excited and scared. You have multiple areas of your brain lighting up. So yep, totally normal. Knowing this has me making more intentional decisions than ever. And that's how I'm creating a life filled with joy, growth, connection, and gratitude. A beautiful combination. A delicious elixir for a life worth living. It starts with one intentional decision and amazingly gains momentum. Are you ready for your final action step? Decide when you're going to make that decision. Being sensitive to any time parameters like deadlines or expiry dates, then mark it in your calendar to close the loop in your brain. Here's the very important part. When that time comes, even if you don't want to, follow through and honor your plan. By doing so, you'll develop a more trusting relationship with yourself, have your own back, and gain a boost of self-confidence. I hope this episode encourages you to understand what is getting in your way of making a decision. One common roadblock is time to give the matter at hand uninterrupted attention. That's one of the benefits of escaping for a weekend retreat, as it's more than just about escaping. It's giving yourself the time, space, and permission to tune into your heart and soul to discover the most loving and powerful decision you can make moving forward. This decision will impact your life, relationships, career, and health. Imagine making decisions that align with your true desires. They will bring peace, clarity, and confidence rather than overwhelm and frustration. Maybe your next personal growth decision is to join us May 31st to June 2nd at the Lakeside Women's Weekend Retreat. Maybe you would like to work with me privately or in a virtual group coaching program to support you in the freeing lifestyle to feel light, mind, and body. Go to the link in this episode and see what's best for you. I'm here to help you every step of the way. And let me know what decision you made and how it felt to do so. I'm the one in my DMs, so it'll be me, not my assistant, responding. Can't wait to talk soon. And if it's in person, I can't wait to give you a big hug.
Now, do yourself the biggest favor. From love, take at least one action step from what you learned today. Knowledge without application won't give you the results that you desire. Let me know on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, what you are choosing to do and when. And yes, please leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this. When people read your words and can see themselves in them, then you are contributing to women empowering other women. And that feels amazing. You just might change or save a life today.